politics and Ivy got tales to share. Life in general, we go everywhere. From politics to soul repair. Tune in now, we got time to spare.
All right, diving into the world of Keon Buddhism today. Got some Alan Watts lectures to unpack. You know, the guy who could make like the most complex philosophy sound, well, almost easy.
He was a master at that, wasn't he?
Yeah, for sure. So today we're going to try to grapple with how Keon views reality, its influence on Zen, and maybe even see how it applies to, our lives. Ready to see the universe as a what was it? A net of jewels.
Net of jewels, that's the one. Keon Buddhism, sometimes called the Avatamsaka Sutra, which, by the way, means garland of flowers in Sanskrit. That's all about interconnectedness, man. Everything's connected. It's like trying to bring all these Buddhist doctrines into one, like, big, harmonious whole.
So I get the garland imagery, right? Like all these beautiful flowers woven together. But how does that actually relate to the teachings themselves?
Okay, so imagine, right, you've got this garland. Each flower is unique, different colors, shapes, whatever, but they all work together to create this overall beauty, In Kegon, it's like each doctrine, each teaching is a flower. They all come together to create a complete, understanding of the Dharma.
Okay, I think I'm starting to get the picture. Now, something I've noticed about Mahayana Buddhism, which Kegon is a part of, is that they seem to take a different approach to history. Even like the Buddha himself compared to, like Western traditions.
Yeah, you're picking up on something important there. See, Mahayana Buddhists, they're not so hung up on historical accuracy, dates, names, all that. They're more focused on getting the truth of the teachings across, even if it means like tweaking the narrative a little.
Tweaking the narrative.
Yeah. They call it upaya, skillful means. Basically, it's using whatever methods are most effective, to help people understand the Dharma.
So, like, it's less about sticking to the historical facts, more about finding the most effective way to guide people towards enlightenment.
You got it. The focus is on the essence of the teachings, that transformative power.
This upaya concept, it's interesting, but isn't there a risk there? Like, if you prioritize effectiveness over accuracy,
yeah,
could you end up distorting the teachings? Where's the line?
I hear you. It's a tightrope walk for sure. But the whole point of upaya, the intention, is always to guide people towards a deeper understanding, not to mislead or pull the wool over their eyes or anything like that.
Okay, that makes sense. Now let's dive into one of the central ideas in Kegon, it's the Dharma Dhatu, the realm of Dharma. What exactly is that, and how does it relate to our everyday experience?
All right, so the Dharma Dhatu, think of it as this perfectly harmonious energy system. Like, at its core, it's this idea that the universe is ultimately in a state of perfect balance, perfect interconnectedness, even if we don't always see it that way.
Wait, so you're saying that with all the chaos, the suffering, the messiness we see in the world, there's an underlying harmony. How do you even begin to reconcile those two ideas?
It's a tough one to wrap your head around, for sure. And that's where Kegon introduces this idea of the four Dharma worlds, four different ways of looking at existence that help us to understand, how it all fits together, this complex reality.
Okay, break it down for me. These four Dharma worlds, how do they help us make sense of this underlying harmony in the face of all the chaos?
All right, so first you got G, the world of things, events, just your everyday reality, what you experience with your senses. Think about your daily life, the people you talk to, the stuff you got to do, the emotion, that's your G world, full of all these separate, distinct things. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah. The world multiplicity, constant change. So where does this harmony fit into all that?
That's where Re comes in, the second Dharma world. Re represents principle or continuum. It's the underlying unity that connects all those seemingly separate things in the G world.
So if G is like the choppy surface of the ocean, all the waves and stuff, then Re is like the deep current that flows beneath.
Boom, perfect analogy. See, we get caught up in those ways, the ups and downs of life. But Re reminds us that there's something deeper, more stable underneath all that change.
Okay, that's actually kind of comforting. Especially in a world that can feel so unpredictable, right?
Mm-hmm.
So how do the other two Dharma worlds, the third and fourth, how do they build on this?
All right, so the third one, Rijimugi, introduces this idea of non-separation. This is where it starts to click, You see that Ri and Ji, they're not actually separate. They're interconnected, interdependent. The mirror can't exist without the reflections, right? And vice versa. They arise together, depend on each other.
So even though, we experience things as separate, like distinct events, objects, whatever, they're all fundamentally connected to this deeper unity.
Exactly. And that brings us to the fourth Dharma world, Jijimuge, meaning interpenetration. Now, this one gets a little mind-bending.
Hit me with it. Interpenetration, what's that all about?
Interpenetration, it takes this interconnectedness to a whole other level. Basically, it suggests that everything, every G phenomenon contains and reflects every other G phenomenon. It's like, that net of jewels analogy. Each jewel reflects all the others, this infinite web,
So like a cosmic hologram, each part containing the whole. Man, that's wild.
Right. And the crazy thing is some modern scientific discoveries, they're actually pointing towards a similar kind of understanding. Like physicists, they're searching for this unified theory, this consistent pattern that connects everything in the universe.
Wow, that's incredible. Ancient Buddhist philosophy lining up with cutting-edge science. So where does Zen Buddhism fit into all of this? I mean, they seem so different. Zen's all about like simplicity, direct experience, while Kegon is all this, heady philosophy.
That's a sharp observation, and that's precisely where we'll pick up next time, because the connection between these seemingly different schools of thought, it's deeper than you might think. Get ready to explore the paradoxical wisdom of Zen and its surprising connection to Kegon's interconnectedness.
I'm hooked already. Stay tuned, deep divers. We'll be right back to explore the fascinating world of Zen Buddhism with its roots in the profound philosophy of Kegon. Back again, deep divers, still swimming in the waters of Kegon Buddhism and its influence on Zen. You mentioned this link between Kegon's net of jewels and how Zen emphasizes interconnectedness, right? Could you expand on that a bit?
Yeah, totally. See, Kegon, it likes to lay out these complex philosophical frameworks like those four Dharma worlds we talked about. But Zen, it takes a more direct route. But they're both ultimately pointing to the same truth. Everything's connected.
Okay, yeah, I see the connection you're making. But Zen it's also known for being like really simple, right? Almost like a religion of no religion, as Watts put it.
Yeah.
How does that square with all the complex systems of Kegon?
Well, that's where Zen's love for paradox comes in. It embraces simplicity by stripping away all the dogma, the rituals, all that extra stuff. But at the same time, it still keeps this strict discipline. Yeah. Through things like meditation, the seemingly contradictory approach. It kind of reflects the interconnectedness at the heart of both schools of thought.
So Zen is it's like peeling away the layers, right? Getting to the core of experiencing this interconnectedness directly, not through like intellectualizing it or building these elaborate frameworks.
Yeah, exactly. Zen masters, they use what Watts calls polar thinking. It's seeing how seemingly opposite ideas are actually two sides of the same coin.
Two sides of the same coin. I like that.
Like, take the teachings of Huineng, the sixth patriarch of Zen. He said this famous thing, good and bad are only ideas. Now, he's not saying there's no difference between, ethical and unethical actions, but he's pointing to this deeper truth that these concepts, they come from the same source.
It's like realizing that light and shadow, they need each other to exist. They seem separate, but they're both just aspects of the same thing.
Precisely. Zen, it encourages us to see beyond those dualities, to recognize that interconnectedness that underlies our usual way of thinking,
Okay, yeah, this polar thinking, it's really intriguing. But how does Zen actually go about like stripping away those layers, getting to that direct experience of interconnectedness?
Well, they use all sorts of skillful means, kind of like that upaya concept we were talking about earlier. They use, secular forms, everyday language, even humor sometimes, to get these profound truths across.
So it's about finding those aha moments in everyday life rather than getting lost in all the complicated doctrines.
Right. It's about waking up to the reality that's always right here, right now.
That reminds me of that story Watts tells about John Blofeld's experience with mescaline.
Yeah.
Can you refresh our memory about that and how it relates to this whole waking up idea?
Right. So Blofeld, he was a scholar of Eastern religions, and he took mescaline as part of his exploration of consciousness. He was trying to like visualize this complex Tibetan mandala, but he ended up getting totally overwhelmed. Like he felt like his personality was fragmenting.
Well, that sounds intense. What happened then?
Well, in that moment of just utter despair, he just completely surrendered, let go of everything, even the fear itself. And in that surrender, he had this profound shift.
A shift. What do you mean?
He described it as this experience of undifferentiated unity, a sense of being interconnected with everything. And it was accompanied by this immense bliss. Like he had broken through this illusion of separateness and glimpsed the true nature of reality.
So it's like he stumbled onto the very essence of what both Keegan and Zen are pointing to, right? Through this really unexpected and intense experience.
Yeah, and what's interesting that Blofeld's his breakthrough, it didn't come from intellectual effort. It came from surrender, from letting go of all that clinging to the self, to ideas, even to fear. And this act of letting go, it's a central theme in both Kegon and Zen.
So it's not about being passive,
Yeah.
or giving up. It's about releasing our grip on the things we cling to, the ideas, the fears, the desires, the stuff that keeps us from seeing that interconnectedness.
Exactly. And this letting go, it's not just a mental exercise. It has real implications for how we live our lives, how we act in the world. And this is where that paradoxical relationship between letting go and taking action comes in.
Okay, that sounds like a fascinating concept. I think we're gonna have to save that for the final part of our deep dive.
Indeed, we still have much to explore, including how these ancient wisdom traditions, how they offer this practical guidance, for navigating all the complexities of modern life.
Stay tuned, deep divers. We'll be back to uncover the wisdom of letting go and its power to transform the way we live, the way we interact with the world around us. All right, final part of our deep dive into Kegon and Zen Buddhism. We've covered so much ground, from those four Dharma worlds to the whole paradoxical nature of Zen and the power of letting go. I'm really intrigued by this idea you brought up about the link between letting go and actually taking action. How do we reconcile those two seemingly opposite concepts?
It is a paradox, isn't it? We tend to think of letting go as passive, right? Like withdrawing from the world. But
Right.
but both Kegon and Zen, they suggest that true letting go, it can empower us to act more effectively, more compassionately even.
I'm trying to wrap my head around that. Doesn't letting go imply detachment,
Right.
From outcomes, a sense of non-attachment to the fruits of our actions, so to speak?
It does. But it's not about becoming, indifferent or inactive. Think of it like this, right? When you hit a golf ball, you need to follow through. You don't just stop right after you make contact.
Right. You keep the momentum going, let the energy flow naturally,
Mhm.
even after that initial action.
Exactly. And it's similar with letting go in Kegon and Zen. It's about releasing our clinging to outcomes. The egos need to control everything. And that frees us up to act with a sense of ease, of flow, to respond to situations as they come up without getting, caught up in all that mental drama, the attachment to specific results.
So it's about surrendering to the process,
Yeah.
trusting that things will unfold as they should, even if it doesn't match up with our preconceived ideas about how things ought to be.
Yes. Cultivating this deep trust
Yeah.
in the unfolding of life, even in the midst of uncertainty, of change.
It's a powerful idea.
Yeah.
But it's also challenging, right? Especially in a world that often feels so overwhelming, so chaotic. How do we actually put this principle of letting go into practice? Especially when we're dealing with real world problems like injustice, suffering, conflict.
Well, that's where Keegan's emphasis on interconnectedness comes in. Remember that net of jewels analogy. Our actions, they have ripple effects. They impact not just ourselves, but the whole web of existence.
It's humbling, when you realize that we're all connected like that,
Yeah.
and that our choices, even the seemingly small ones, they have these consequences that go way beyond what we can immediately see.
It is, and this realization, instead of leading to, paralysis or despair, it can actually be this powerful motivator for positive change. When we see ourselves as part of this larger interconnected whole, we're more likely to feel a sense of responsibility for the well-being of that whole.
So instead of feeling overwhelmed, helpless, we're empowered to act with more awareness, with more compassion,
Yeah.
knowing that our actions, even the small ones, they can contribute to a more harmonious world, a more just world.
Exactly. And this brings us back to the importance of perspective. This theme that runs through both Qigong and Zen. Remember those 4 Dharma worlds? Each one offers a different lens to view reality through. And cultivating this ability to shift between those perspectives, it can be incredibly valuable, especially when we're dealing with conflict.
Yeah, those 4 Dharma worlds, each one giving us a unique way of seeing things.
Mm.
So how does shifting between them, how does that help us, navigate conflict more skillfully?
Well, a lot of conflict, it comes from this rigid adherence to a single perspective. This failure to see that interconnectedness, to recognize that shared humanity that binds us all.
We get stuck in our own limited viewpoint. We don't see the bigger picture, the whole web of relationships and causes and conditions that all contribute to the conflict.
Right. By practicing the principles of Qigong and Zen, by cultivating a sense of interconnectedness, of compassion, and this willingness to let go of those rigid perspectives, we can create more space for understanding, for dialogue.
It's about stepping back, taking a deep breath, and trying to see the situation through the eyes of others, recognizing that our perspective is just one of many.
And the shift in perspective, it can open up, new possibilities for resolution, for healing, for creating a more harmonious world, a more compassionate world.
As we wrap up this deep dive, I'm struck by just how deep and relevant these ancient teachings are. Qigong and Zen, they offer not just this philosophical framework, but a practical guide for living a more meaningful life, a more fulfilling life.
They do. They remind us that even amidst all the complexity, the challenges of the modern world, there's this profound beauty, this interconnectedness that's always present, just waiting to be discovered.
And that discovery, that shift in perspective, it's available to all of us right here, right now. We just have to be willing to let go, to open ourselves to the possibility of a reality that goes way beyond our limited perceptions. Thank you for joining us on this incredible journey into the heart of Qigong and Zen Buddhism. It's been a real pleasure exploring these profound teachings with you. Until next time, deep divers, keep exploring, keep questioning, and keep letting go.
Alex and Ivy got tales to share. Life in general, we go everywhere. From politics to soul repair. Tune in now, we got time to spare.